Welcome to another episode of a Hingham Happenings. I'm Ryan Allen and I'll be your host. So this is the month of August. Let's take a look at what's coming up on this episode.
The show tees off with a tour of a new golf facility in town. An exhibit documents buckets of information about a major industry in Hingham's history. Bike riders pedal around Wampatuck's habitat to build memories and more for one organization. Many artists open up their studios for spectators to marvel at and interact with. A crowd sits under the stars for a music performance that shines on a summer night. And sailboats explore the seas by the Hingham Yacht Club for an adventurous regatta.
All this and more coming up on Hingham Happenings. There's a new golf facility in town, and it's called the Weathervane Golf Academy. Players can sharpen up their golf game by practicing on 80 driving bays, a 10,000 square foot putting green, and PGA Tour simulators inside the complex. HCAM visited the golfing destination right off of Route 53 to find out more.
We're open to all age groups. We do have junior clinics that we'll be running this summer that starts at age 6, but we also do individual lessons for any age group. We do women's clinics. We do half-hour lessons, full-hour lessons, whether it's you want to work on your short game, anything specific, or just break down your swing. We can do it with our indoor simulators as well. Bill Murphy can kind of tailor anything you need for any type of lesson.
Being a golf professional in the area for years, this is a great opportunity to come back to my roots and really help the golfers in the area. But my main concern when I'm teaching is to get a good foundation so people can succeed at golf. So their foundation would be their stance and their alignment, and then from there I always try to get golfers to let their hands go. I don't want the hands to be in the golf swing. I want their chest and their shoulders to control the golf swing, and that's going to control where the ball ends up.
Any golfers of any skill level are welcome here, and that's why we really want to create this into a learning center, and that's kind of why we're calling it the Academy more than just a driving range.
Everyone's very excited, very happy with all the renovations we have done since taking over in January. Everyone's very pleased with the new target greens we've built out on the range.
That center target out there, we used kind of Google Maps and made it so no matter where you are on the range out here, it's 150 yards. So whatever bay you're hitting from, that's 150 yards. So eventually we're going to color that in. You know, we might put like a Boston Strong logo on it, something neat like that. We might color the hill back there with some logos, and we'll be putting some more flags and stuff to aim at out there.
Some of the new things we have 2 robots, first time in the United States from Belgium.
One is constantly cutting the grass and one's constantly picking up balls. When he's full with balls, he'll come in, he'll park by a docking station out there. All the balls go down underground, they get cleaned, they funnel in through our basement, they get cleaned again, and then they get brought up right in the back of our front desk. Tailoring to each individual, you know, kind of offering everything they need. It's not just you're going to come here and hit balls and you're going to leave. We want you to come in and you know, buy your shoes here, buy your shirts here, get your clubs fitted here, get your grips here, have your lessons here, have it really be the one-stop shopping for all your golf needs.
Here at the Weathervane Golf Academy, we have 2 True Golf simulators. Between the 2 of them, they have 60 PGA Tour golf courses, and it works by sound. So the speakers and the microphones actually calculate how far you hit each shot, what direction it goes, and it's actually very, very accurate. So it'll track each shot, and you can play a legitimate round of golf at some of the best golf courses in the world, technically. And it doesn't matter what the weather is like outside. It's pretty neat.
Well, we're year-round here at the Academy. Our hours are 9 to 10 and 9 to 11 on Fridays and Saturdays. We have lights and heated bays, so we really want to be able to provide golf, you know, not 24/7, but almost.
Our next story focuses on an exhibit that celebrated the cherished traditions of toy making in Hingham. The town was known as the woodenware capital of the country for centuries, and residents had fun learning about Bucketown's history at Old Sturbridge Village.
So the Bucketown exhibit at Old Sturbridge Village is an exploration of the bucket making and pail and wooden box making industry in the town of Hingham, Massachusetts.
For the first time in history, Hingham residents and people all over the country will have a chance to look at over 200 objects, original buckets, pails, wooden toys, tools, account books, paintings, all made or created in Hingham in the 18th century through about World War II.
We started producing buckets here because Hingham was, in the first part of the 19th century, a major fishing port. Doesn't sound like that'd be easy to believe today, but it's true. Hingham was a mackerel fishing port, and ships with dozens and dozens and scores of boats went out every day to catch mackerel, and these were shipped far and wide, and of course, to be shipped, they have to be salted down and stored in something. And what they were stored in was the wooden buckets that were produced right here in Hingham. And these buckets traveled all over the world, and many of them survive today, and they're a collectible item.
What enables us to tell the story of the buckets and the bucket making in such great detail is that we also have a really well documented genealogy for the town of Hingham. So we know where these bucket makers lived, we know how many children they have, some of their homesteads still exist, we know what else they did for a living, we even know who the other laborers were on their homesteads and in their farms. So you can start to tie the story of these buckets to actual places that still exist in town, and with many times, in many instances, with the families that still live here.
At the same time that Sturbridge was planning to add a fourth exhibit in their history of American furniture, we were in the midst of putting together a book here in Hingham about Hingham's woodenware industry.
The major discovery of the book and exhibition is the Hersey family toy and box making shop. In 2007, the family began cleaning out a farm that had been in their possession since the 18th century, and they discovered in the backyard this little 10-foot by 10-foot shed that had been covered in vines and had a lock on it that was rusted shut. So they knocked the lock off, they started cleaning it out, and they discovered an intact coopering and toy making shop that had been used by multiple generations of Herseys from the 1830s right up to the early 1900s. It's literally a time capsule of Hingham's most important industries.
Peter Hersey tells the story when he was a kid growing up on that farm, they weren't allowed to touch that place. So this would be in the 1950s probably. And it wasn't until 2007 or so that he realizes that, you know, oh, I'm grown up now, I own the farm, I could tear the vines down. And so that's when he finally sort of makes this discovery.
Further research has revealed that it is in fact the oldest toy making shop to survive in the country.
People that are going to the exhibit at first be sort of surprised by the idea that you would put wooden buckets on display. I mean, what could be more humble than a wooden bucket? But what they'll discover when they see the exhibit is the craftsmanship in these buckets, and then the transition of those craft skills that were used to make the buckets to the crafting of these really finely wrought and beautifully manufactured wooden toys, which is what helped keep these wooden workers, sort of small-scale carpenters, in business for much longer than they might ordinarily have stayed in business.
And when you walk into the exhibit, one of the first things you see, they have set up a fellow who's actually doing this carving. He's carving pieces of wood staves for a wooden bucket using the original tools. And and so you can stand there and watch him, and he'll answer questions, you know, in the Sturbridge manner. They like to show people actually doing the things that you're watching. It's not just an exhibit to look at something, but to see how it works and to get the feel for it.
The exhibit's really a snapshot of these early industries, coopering and toy making in Hingham. The book goes a lot more in depth. It's an entire history, beginning in the 1630s, ending in the 1970s, actually, when the last toy maker in Hingham passes away. And it's a really excellent reference tool.
For more information about Bucketown the book, visit the Old Sturbridge Village exhibit or the Hingham Historical Commission office in Town Hall.
The South Shore Habitat for Humanity is a nonprofit organization with a mission to deliver simple, affordable homes to those in need. The annual Ride for Habitat was held at Wampatuck State Park. Bike riders raised money to support the cause, and they experienced so many thrills along the wooded course afterwards.
Today we're here at Wampatuck State Park for the Ride for Habitat in support of South Shore Habitat for Humanity. Our organization builds homes here on the South Shore. We build simple, decent, affordable homes for families in need in partnership not only with families but with local riders, businesses, sponsors. People today are going out in the spirit of health and wellness to ride and help raise money and community awareness for South Shore Habitat.
What's the event for and about? It's a fundraiser for South Shore Habitat, and literally we say, ride your bike, build a home. My goal is to, at one time, have this ride produce enough fundraising so we can actually say that house that we just built was built by the bikers.
I think the Ride for Habitat was started for families to benefit families who are in the process of partnering with Habitat for Humanity for an affordable home ownership opportunity. I think one of the amazing things is that the South Shore actually started South Shore's chapter of Habitat for Humanity, so everyone in the community is really invested in the cause and very supportive, as was my community of Norwell, in building home ownership opportunities for families.
We are so excited that we have had, this is the 8th annual Ride for Habitat here in Hingham at the State Park. And we have built homes here in Hingham, and we are actively looking for more land to build homes back here in Hingham. We're partnering and chatting with the Affordable Housing Trust because affordable housing is so critical. But there are sponsors and local merchants and donors who are coming out to support the community. We need more volunteers, we need more individuals, and all together we change the lives. Our tagline is building homes and changing lives, and we thank those from Hingham who are interested in giving back.
I think we've brought in a bunch of people that don't live in Hingham that have actually seen, well, actually, the Wampatuck is one of the benefits of Hingham, but just being on the streets in Hingham and getting people down here. The 50-mile ride, in my opinion, is the best ride out of the three, because we get to go on all the coastline from Scituate all the way down to Hull, back through Hingham, use all the Wampatuck. The 15 that people want for the novice rider is actually very short, very quick to the water and back. I think it's been good. I left too early. They told me we had 25 riders on the 50, which was more than I thought we would have. So that was good. And it looks like we've got a good crowd here now. And everybody's looking, it's a beautiful day. Everybody's happy and having fun.
I think the turnout continues to grow because once people learn about the mission and meet the families and start to understand the need for affordable home ownership opportunities, it's something that everyone can get behind.
We're talking about adding on a bike walk so people can bring their kids, make this more of a family event next year. And there's also been talk about adding a century to it, which is a 100-mile ride.
We are so excited today to greet about 100 riders and participants today here for our ride. We have a 50-mile circuit, we have a 25-mile circuit, and a 15-mile circuit. This event will conclude today with a barbecue, and we have entertainment with Ramshackle, and then we have several opportunities for people to get involved. We have an upcoming golf tournament on World Habitat Day on October 6th, and then there are times all throughout the year, from building on our 2 new homes in Hanover. We also have opportunities to volunteer in our warehouse and in the office. So certainly we encourage you to visit our website and find out how you can get involved with us.
This past month, the 19th annual Open Studios Art Tour took place, and about 40 Hingham and Hull artists presented their work in home studios that spanned all the way from Hingham to the whole peninsula.
Today is our open studio event that we have twice a year. It's put on by Hull artists, and we've been doing this for 19 years now.
I've only been a member of Hull Artists this year, so it's my first year, and I'm very excited to be part of a great organization. I've been doing my art since I was about 5 years old, one thing or another. I started doing cartoons, and I have my children's book here. And then I moved to fine arts, and now I'm doing digital paintings, which are something entirely new for me, which don't involve a paintbrush at all, but everything's done on my tablet.
I'm actually a part of Hull Artists. I was lucky enough to be awarded the Hull Artists Association scholarship this year. I've been doing art my whole life. Started to, both my dad and grandfather were artists, so I've always been interested in art and have just carried it out through my school career, and will be attending college for it next year.
I've been a member of Hull Artists for 4 years now. I've been the secretary for the group for 3, and my artwork has gone ever since I went to Mass Art, and I've been doing art ever since.
Well, I'm new to Hull, so I was thrilled to be able to get into Hull Artists. I'm also a member of all the art groups in the South Shore. I'm an art teacher. I'm a master's in art, and I specialized in textiles.
Well, art events like this can bring together a bunch of artists in the community and can help display the different variety of work that everyone's doing.
These art events are important for the community because there's so many talented people on the South Shore, and this is a way to showcase their talents and let the community enjoy the work they do.
I think events like this are twofold: important to the artist for exposure, meeting people who are interested in art, and I think it enhances a community to have these kind of events.
It's an opportunity to showcase all the local talent, and I think it's an inspiration for both children and adults to see all the artwork, and it gives the artists a chance to show their work and hopefully to sell some work for their businesses.
Where you can see my art displayed at open studio events like this. There's another one in August this year, and also at the 4th Floor Artists in Rockland, Mass. has an open studio in November.
Where you can see my art is here today, and then I do primarily pet portraits, so it's by a commission. People contact me at different events that I show my artwork at.
Well, I'm going to be on the Hull Artist Tour this summer, today and tomorrow, July 5th and 6th. And then you can also come in August, the end of, I think it's the 23rd and 24th.
For the people that couldn't make it out for this event today, I say come tomorrow or come in August when we also have another weekend scheduled.
Come in August and come next year. Great things to look at.
Just encourage you to support the Hull artists and other community artists, and have a very happy and safe summer.
After a long summer day, it's always great to unwind and relax on a hot and humid night. Music fans did just that while listening to entertaining performances played at the Jane Carr Amphitheater for an occasion known as Evening Under the Stars.
Well, South Shore Conservatory considers this a great opportunity for people to be exposed to who we are and what we do. We use this a lot to friend raise as well as to introduce people to some of our awesome programs and faculty.
The ensemble itself, it's a 2-credit performance studies class where students not only play Bob's music that we're going to hear tonight, but I also talk to them and lecture about Bob's life. So the students in the ensemble tonight have learned a lot about Bob's life and his politics and his religion, spiritual practices, and his music. And that helps to inform the music. The performance is very inspired because of these things. The students, I audition them every year or every semester, so I get a chance to choose from amongst the best students who come to the college. And they're from all over the world.
I was actually really excited to hear that we were playing here at the South Shore Conservatory in Hingham, because I grew up here. I took lessons here when I was a young kid. So it's really cool to be, sharing the stage with people all around the world, from my childhood. So I think it's really cool.
I've been singing all my life, seriously practicing, probably since middle school. I was in choir and such, and then I really got serious in high school. Started taking voice lessons, doing more gigs, doing more performances. So I guess that's when I really started practicing so I could really get good, because that's what I wanted to do with my life. So yeah, I really started focusing on it more.
So it is a fantastic opportunity to come together and play on a professional level. And I am very excited to have these young musicians, to give them the opportunity to have a great professional level performance experience. I can't really call this a student ensemble, even though it is, because the level of musicianship is so high. So I get them public performances like this.
It is the coolest ensemble I've ever had the pleasure of doing at Berkeley. It taught me all about reggae music and Rastafarian life and Bob Marley's life. And I'm very fortunate to be part of this great ensemble.
I actually didn't even know about the ensemble until Miles Sweeney, who went to South Shore Conservatory, told me about it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I never really sang reggae before, but I mean, I'll try it out. So I auditioned the next day and I got in, so it was definitely a different experience for me, but I've been having a great time and just tried out new things, yeah.
Music brings everybody together, not just the musicians, but audience. Everybody loves Bob, whether you know the depths of his music or just listen to his great love songs. So it's not only bringing just musicians together, but whenever we play, it's all love, which hopefully we will have tonight.
Well, I think it brings people together, and it allows you to see some really first-rate performances without having to travel to Boston. There was a time when south of Boston didn't have as many wonderful events as they do, and this is a real treasure here in Hingham that many people don't know about. So we're proud to be able to bring the level of performance that we do here at a price that's really reasonable. We're happy to take volunteers. We have many volunteers that make all of this happen over the summer. They can also come in as students. We take students from age 4 months up to 104 years old. Or they can just come and be an audience member. Either of those ways are great ways to take in some of what we do. Well, I would tell people that they're a lot of fun, and that you can come and stay for a while, bring a picnic. It's great for children. We have a playground. They can wander around. And you have a great time for a price that's really reasonable for families. There's no need to go to Boston or Tanglewood when you can come here.
And finally, the Hingham Bay Junior Regatta set sail at the Hingham Yacht Club this early July. Many different boat classes participated and navigated along the sea with help from the wind.
It's an annual event here at the Hingham Yacht Club, and I think this may be our 15th year doing it, and it's one of the biggest junior sailing events in Massachusetts Bay. This year we have 250 kids from as far away as Maine and from as far south as Cape Cod in 4 or 5 different classes. We have 420s, which is a 2-man dinghy. And we have lasers, which is a single-handed dinghy, and then we have optimists, or opties as they're better known, which is also a single-handed dinghy. It's a great event. The kids have a fantastic time, and it's a lot of fun. the Hingham Yacht Club since I moved to Hingham in the early 2000s. And I ran the junior program here 4 or 5 years ago. And this is another big volunteer opportunity. This is a 100% volunteer run event, so it's run entirely by the members of the Hingham Yacht Club. So we rely on, as you can imagine, a huge team of volunteers every year to run this. And I'm in charge of it this year. And it's gotten a little bit bigger, I'd say, in terms of how it's changed. It's gotten a little bit bigger, but it's always been a big event. Well, there's a lot of local Hingham kids in the event. There's probably of the 250, I would bet 50 or 60 of them are here in Hingham. So and the Hingham kids spend a lot of their time in the summer sailing here, so it's a fun event for them. And I think it just it puts Hingham and Hingham Yacht Club on the map to have visiting sailors from around Massachusetts Bay coming here and sailing. And it's, like I said, it's one of the biggest events, and I think a big reason for that is it's one of the best well-run events. People from out of town have a great time. We do a really good job running it. It's reliable. They know what they're going to get. And they come back, kids come back year after year, and they really look forward to it. One of the lines has the 420s and the lasers on it, and those are some of the older kids. The kids on the 420 and laser line are probably 13 to 17 years old. Yeah, and then we have a Optimus Championship line, which is some of the more experienced Optimus racers. Those kids are maybe 11 to 14, and there's 3 different classes based on your age on that championship line in the Optimus. We have 90 boats on that line this year. That's a very big line. And then we have an Optimus Green line, which is the beginner racers in the Optimus class. And those kids are maybe 9, 10, 11 years old, typically in that class. So there's 3 different areas of the water that they're racing on. So lots going on. If you're a junior sailor in Hingham or elsewhere for that matter, encourage you to get on the list next year. It's always in early July, like the second week of July. This year we actually sold out. We had to close down registration. It got full. So I think next year people will register early and make sure they get in.
Thank you so much for watching another episode of Hingham Happenings. And remember, if you have any story ideas that you'd like to see get covered and put on TV, please reach out to us at hinghammedia.org. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.